there, guys and girls. Guess what I just saw? The new Mortal Kombat movie. And you're all wondering what I thought about it. Well, I liked it. It's actually a really good movie. I'm actually surprised. Like, look, there's been a lot of hype behind this movie, and I'm not one to get into all this hype when like small things are released and stuff. A lot of people were like going crazy. Oh, a new screenshot, or oh, TV spot shows 3 extra seconds and that wasn't in the trailer. I'm not really one of those people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was waiting to see a proper trailer. The trailer's pretty good, and I was a bit sort of, well, not worried. I just thought it was strange that they had a trailer, but there was no like teaser trailer and no second trailer. Like, a lot of big movies have like a second trailer and that. But you know what? It didn't need it. It really didn't, and it didn't spoil too much of the film. And this movie is very competently shot. The movie's directed by Simon McCoy, and it's written by Greg Russo, and was made in Australia, and got some very talented actors and martial artists in the film, playing the various characters from the movie, from the game in the movie. You know, I don't want to go into spoilers here, so don't worry. I'll do a separate video for spoilers. But basically, this movie, it takes on the story, the Mortal Kombat story around the tournament from a different angle, and without going too much into it, it's done very well. It has a very good tone. The violence is consistent throughout the movie. It has a sort of a serious tone, but there are light comedic moments throughout the film, especially with Kano, who's probably my favourite in the movie. Kano's dropping just talking non-stop and just being funny and swearing and being just, you know, arrogant and like just an asshole, like you know, and it's just funny to watch. I'm sorry, but it just is. I couldn't stop laughing, actually. Kano's probably my favourite in the movie, and yeah, like I don't want to talk too much about the. I don't want to go too much into like. Too deep into the story. I'm going to save it for spoilers because, like, you know, I'm worried I'm going to spoil something, you know, but this does everything right. It doesn't introduce a whole bunch of characters and then they're shoved off screen quickly, you know. All the characters are set up, you know, in the first sort of act of the film, and then, yeah, it carries on over through, and, yeah, there's a good result. There's some interesting also surprises throughout the film, like things I didn't expect to happen that happen. You know, and obviously I'm not going to say what they are until spoilers. And also the gore and the gory things you see in the movie are done very well. They're not. A lot of things are from the game, like fatalities and stuff. You know, and they didn't just make up something. Do you know what I mean? Stuff is from the games. I saw a lot of Easter eggs in the background of the movie. A lot of like symbols and things in the background. Things like there's a line at the start of the movie. You're fighting Eddie Tobias. I'm like, okay, yep. There's a nod to John Tobias. You know, just little things like that all the time throughout the film. So yeah, like this movie was very good. The martial arts was fantastic. It's competently filmed. The acting's good. It's funny. It's just a very enjoyable movie. And if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you're gonna like it. You're really gonna like it. And I was kind of worried. I was a bit worried, just because I didn't know much about the director, and like until I'd sort of seen what he's doing. When I first saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, he knows what he's doing. You know, the movie's directed very well. It's written very well. The writing is very good. On these characters, all the characters. There's a few things, like I suppose I could do a breakdown and talk about the characters. So, the the main thing about this film is that Scorpion and Sub-Zero are sort of like the backbone of the film. That story with them and their rivalry is sort of a backbone to the whole story without going into full details, right? And then you've got like, and I mean, we don't even get to Liu Kang and Kung Lao until a bit into it. So these guys, you know, they hate each other. We know that already. Sonya and Jax, you know, they're special forces. They're investigating people with the birthmark thing. And, you know, I should talk about the birthmark thing because I thought that was going to drive me crazy a bit. But as I was watching the movie, I'm like, well, okay, that's what they went with. And it does work throughout the movie. There's not really a way I can flaw that part of the movie. I wasn't a fan of that at first. I'm like, I don't know why they did that. But, you know, it does work in the movie, so I can't hate on it too much. Obviously, Kano's your bad guy. He's with Sonya. Jax is down here. Jax and Sonya together, Special Forces. Kano's Black Dragon. You got Kung Lao and Liu Kang, which are Shaolin cousins in the movie. You got Raiden, who's Earthrealm Protector's god, and Cole Young, and who's our main sort of protagonist. And obviously we've got Melina. There's a few other characters in the movie. Rico's in it, Cabal's in it, Naitara's in it. Yeah, and I gotta say, like, especially with Cabal, I thought Cabal was done perfectly in this movie. Like, everything that he does, every time he does a move, his backstory, the way he talks and sounds, everything was great with Cabal. Yeah, no, you know, it's just a great movie. It really is. If you're going to see this and you can see it on the big screen, I'd recommend seeing it on the big screen. I mean, I know a lot of you are in, you know, COVID crazy areas and you'll probably watch this on streaming. That's fine, you know, turn it up, enjoy the movie. But if you can get out there and see it on a big screen, and the bigger the better, see it like on IMAX, because this does look quite nice, this movie. The effects are good. Like I said, it's never really campy or anything. And it's just very enjoyable. Now, there are a few criticisms I will give the movie. And it's like this. The characters, and I've talked about this before, the characters... See this poster? Scorpion looks very yellow and Sub-Zero looks very blue. That's a Photoshop effect that they've put on there. They've brought up the colours on these two characters. In the movie, they do have the yellow and blue, but they look very dark. And I kind of just wish they looked like the old games, where they did bright yellow, bright blue. It's just easy to watch. With this level of acting and fighting and everything, it would look awesome. I really hated Shang Tsung's look. I did not like his costume at all. Shang Tsung, to me, in this movie was... I don't want to say disappointing. He's played... The character's played to have sort of a very monotone sort of performance. He's just evil, you know. Do you know what I mean? If you've seen the trailer, the perfect example is where he just goes, kill them. You know what I mean? Just plays it like that. He's just evil, sort of just very low-key performance. I don't know. I didn't like the way he looked. I don't know. I just don't like the costume. I don't think that looks like Shang Tsung. I can't fault really anyone else. You know, everyone else looks like their characters. Jax looks Jax, Raiden looks Raiden. Kung Lao looked fantastic. I loved his costume probably the most. His costume was fantastic. I don't know why they gave Sonya knives. I thought that was kind of weird, considering Kano is the knife guy, right? But in the movie, and you'll see this, Kano has knives as well. So they both sort of have knives. I guess they just wanted to give Sonya knives or something. Yeah, so... Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm not going to talk anymore about this. I'm going to go a bit into spoilers. But, the one more thing I wanted to say, and that's what I was getting at, actually, is the backgrounds. The backgrounds of the movie is where I feel like the movie falls short. If you've seen the original Mortal Kombat movie, the 95 film, even Annihilation, right? I know, even Annihilation. The backgrounds are pretty interesting, especially more the first movie, really. Like when you see all and Christopher Lambert even talked about it in my interview, where he talked about how he loved the sets, he loved all the sculptures of the things on Shang Tsung's island. It looked sort of weird, the paths were sort of twisted, and they looked sort of nice and dangerous at the same time. The island looked cool. When they get on the island, you know, they're walking up the sand, they've got all those flags all the way up, and Shang Tsung sits under that thing with the Mortal Kombat logo. It had a great look, the first movie. You know, when they went, and my biggest gripe with this movie compared to the 95 film is that you watch the 95 movie, right, and even though it's campy and like silly, and I love it, don't get me wrong, I'm talking about tone versus this, right? When they go to Outworld in the 95 film, Outworld looked fantastic. It looked very dark, statues knocked over, people scurrying in the darkness. You can literally hear them while they're talking, like scurrying off. You can't see them properly. They're wearing sort of like, you know, tattered like clothes, and they're running. You know, their Outworlders are like poor, in poverty. They're hiding. They're scared. You know, they're running away, and they've got those statues like this, and they're on fire. It looks like a bad place. Big statues knocked over. Outworld in this is a coal mine. And they've added like that big statue of Goro in the background that you see, and you'll see that there's like a part where they talk to Shang Tsung, and he's sitting on the throne, you know, and that looks sort of interesting, but like you only saw it like twice in the movie, and the rest of the times you see Outworld, it's like literally like they're walking through a desert, you know, and it didn't look purple, and it didn't look scary. They had people running along the sides of this like road. There's this part where this road, and they had people running like along the sides that are supposed to look like those people I talked about in the 95 one that are scurrying and hiding and scared. It's sort of supposed to look like them, but because it's so bright, the movie's so bright and so open and not dark, that it just looked weird to me. They just looked very strange. And I started thinking about the movie in the background, in my head, thinking about the backgrounds, like this movie doesn't have many locations. It really doesn't. It's got like the gym at the start, Cole Young's gym, sorry, and then it goes to like the Special Forces compound. There's like a scene in between, like at a cafe or something. Special Forces compound. Then they go to Raiden Sky Temple, you know. And then Outworld, and that's really it. There's not many places, and not many of them look interesting. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like the start's probably the best with the gym, and that's where they film. That's where they had a lot of the extras. In fact, I was at the Melbourne Premiere, and I was sitting next to a gentleman next to me, and he was an extra in the movie, and he told me all about it. So that was great. I got to find a bit out about that, and he told me even a bit about a lot of stuff was cut from the movie that he told me about, which was good to hear. I just don't understand why these backgrounds, they all look good, especially with Cole Young's gym. You've seen it in the trailer. There's a fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. That's in the gym at the end, and the gym at the start has all the people in it. So that's an interesting background because it changes state from the start of the movie, and then at the end of the movie it's different. I guess my main gripe is really with Outworld and Raiden Sky Temple. It was okay. There were some interesting statues and things that they added digitally into it, and there were some things in the background like Katana's fan and stuff that made it interesting. So I brought that up a bit, but Outworld for me looked really bad in this movie. Like, I don't understand why there were no more fires, things lit on fire, people scared, running away, you know. I don't know why it just looked like that. I guess really that's probably my only criticism of this movie. It's not a deal breaker, guys. You guys are going to love the Mortal Kombat movie. If you like the game, this is a very, very enjoyable ride. You know all the characters. You know everything that's happening. And there's tons of Easter eggs. I was just rattling off. I took my mate, who's not really a Mortal Kombat fan, I was just rattling him off. That's, that's that, oh, that's the Komidogu in the background on the post. Yeah, I was just seeing, my brain was just going crazy looking for things, and I was just seeing, oh, yeah, that's that. So there's a lot to look at in the backgrounds. And yeah, the Mortal Kombat movie, I loved it. It was enjoyable. It was fantastic. I'd probably like this as much as the original, and I'd probably give this like a solid I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. For what it is, you guys are gonna love it. Loses a few points for I don't know, the costume on Shang Tsung. Wasn't a fan, and Outworld just looking boring, But other than that, everything in this movie is great. And we're now gonna talk about spoilers. So if you want to get the movie spoiled, watch my next video that has the spoilers in it. Because now I can not tiptoe around things and really let loose. So, spoiler video coming up next.